Now let's talk about a company which on the other end of the spectrum really is more known for its kind of stability and quality. It's City Lodge, which is of course positioned in that kind of business traveler, government sector, 3 stars, 4 stars kind of above. People know the basic concept. It's also got the road lodges and so on. It's been expanding into Kenya and it's done quite a lot of building in recent years. 6.6 billion rands worth of market cap, price to earnings ratio 17.8, dividend yield of 3.35%. It owns its own buildings. That's one of the other differentiators. They don't just operate.
Yep.
They have built up those assets through the judicious use of their own gearing. You like these guys?
Well, certainly. I think if you look at it, we talked earlier on in terms of Tsoko-san wanting to separate the property business and the hotel or the hospitality industry. So sometimes it does work well for them because they own the properties. They can basically decide what to do in terms of also, just changing their cost of capital if they want to do any.
It affects the return on equity, but at the same time also maybe gives them a sort of an underpin in terms of the share price because the NAV then is there. It's not just an operating company.
100%. I think I did have the return on equity here.
For City Lodge.
Yeah, it's basically about 26%. So it has been averaging there. It shows basically in terms of their occupancy rate, which has remained steady. But
also mention that because there used to be a time like 10 years ago when City Lodge's occupancy rate was like 85%. Then in the 2010 build out for the World Cup, everybody got a bit crazy. Then it all came down to like 60%. It's been slowly going up like an airplane trying to take off, but it's not yet back to where it was.
Certainly not. I think their pricing, it needs to be adjusted. I was just doing some investigations this morning. So if you look at their City Lodge here in Sandton, which is a 3-star hotel, it's about 1,395 per bed. If you compare it to Wanderers, the difference is about
which is a Protea
hotel, but that's a 4-star. But that's a 4-star. Okay. Now, here's a 4-star and 3-star, and the difference is about 5 rand.
So you're saying there's not enough margin there. That's an interesting example because the City Lodge here in Sandton is in a very dense area with lots of choices. But I suppose what would be interesting is to see how would it be like for the Maritzburg one or something that's in...
Or the Cape Town one, the
old one. The one at OR Tambo is another option. Yes, the one at the waterfront.
Yeah, that's the oldest. I mean, I used to like that in the 90s. It was just right in the center there. So if you want to join the N2. But certainly, I think what I was saying, for them to be able to increase the occupancy rate, they need to start looking at their pricing and try and
another core customer for them was the government. And we know that every time Mr. Gordon stands up in Parliament, he says these public servants, no, we're going to hammer them again. So you probably find they've been told to travel less and to lower their expectations. But that could be either good or bad for them because it could mean more business or less business. I don't know.
Not to stay long in hotels. Remember some of our ministers, whilst they're waiting for their houses, they can stay for 2 years.
5-star places for 2 years. That's disgraceful.
Disgraceful, yeah. But if you look at the chart, really, since for the past 2 years, almost stuck around 153, 150 to 160 price range. And I think that's where our target.
That's a very nice looking chart, though, because if you're patient and you sit and wait for your dividends, that looks good. And Clifford Ross and his colleagues do a good job. It's got a nice team. They have low staff turnover. They've got these nice ventures where they send all of the staff off to hospitality school linked to UJ and that kind of thing. You've got to hand it to them. Nice company.
I agree with you.
African expansion outside of South Africa, that also sounds good. Building up into East Africa?
Certainly, I think from a tourism perspective and just getting the geography right, Africa really, for me, the story of rising did not come, but I still believe it's yet to come. There are lots of events happening in Africa. There's lots of positivity happening in Africa. So certainly, I think that expansion should be able to add, obviously, to their number of beds and should be able to push the profits.
I'm being told that we've been waffling for too much time and we're going to run out of time. So hot or not on City Lodge?
I will be not hot on it.
Okay, I like these guys. I'm going to go hot and say they can continue to deliver.